Okay, look, a troll means you have no feelings, right?
That's
the problem.
That's also called a sociopath.
No, basically, the internet sociopath. That's what you have to be on social media.
Like ruthless.
Like if you have feelings, you're losing. You're losing the internet battle because you got to remember, there's people that just gets on just to mess with you.
Yeah.
And that's what people read. We'll go and look at, oh yeah, I love you, you're the best, best show. The one person say, oh you suck, get a job. That's the person you look at, and that's all they want. They want your attention, so you give it to them.
So how do you troll a troll?
Yeah, how do you troll it? Yeah, that's a different.
Just keep going. Whoever gives up.
That's too much work.
It's just like your mama jokes. That's all it is. Whoever has the best one at the end won. Whoever had the best one at the end won.
See, we couldn't do the mama jokes growing up. That would never work. That ended in fist fights or violence.
That was the reason. I don't know why, because we all had mothers that, people all had mothers that used the daddy joke. Your daddy ain't here. He pulled the daddy one out.
Welcome back to Out of Bounds. I'm Pierce Simpson. We got a jam-packed show like we always do. I'm joined here by Complex Sports editor, Mr. Adam Caparel. Cap, how you feeling, brother?
We're doing all right tonight.
We know how you feel about small children and babies. So
that's fake news.
That's fake news.
That's fake news sad.
Fake news sad. Next to Adam Caparel is playoff aficionado, Mr. Gilbert Arenas in the building. You were breaking down everything back in the green room.
No, man, I'm happy. I got the same paperwork as you now.
Finally.
Yeah, I finally grew up.
You finally grew up.
Finally grew up.
Now
I know what we're talking about.
You're off the cards.
Yeah. I'm off the cards off my daughter's notebook. I got the real stuff now, baby. I'm legit.
There was this growing thing that people was like, Gilbert's not writing anything in his notebook. But you had notes in there. It was chicken scratch.
It was chicken scratch. It was like, yeah, okay, he's gonna talk about this. I need to. It's like, I got to do something after this.
And people think that you don't look up anything on your laptop, which is bizarre.
It's also fake news.
That's also fake news. Okay.
No.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Trust me.
He has stuff.
It's an all gambling site.
We're monitoring the games right now. Yes.
He's monitoring plays.
Yo, you're very serious about that.
Back in the action.
The Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs continue their series last night in Game 2. But after Sunday's Game 1, Klay Thompson kind of addressed the ongoing narrative that the Warriors have been up and down this season and gave an interesting quote after dropping 27 points in Game 1. On Sunday, reporters asked him about whether or not the narrative bothered him. He was quoted as saying, "No, because I don't listen to them, to be honest. It didn't bother me at all. I didn't even know that until you told me. I do read the paper, but I read the box score mainly. I don't really read people's opinions. I know what to think of myself." So the Golden State Warriors blew out the San Antonio Spurs 113-92 in Game 1. The Warriors finished with the second best record in the Western Conference of 58-24. Of course, the injuries throughout the season. Are we buying that Klay Thompson is not listening to the media narrative that's going on about the Warriors being up and down and potentially not favorites in the Western Conference?
I mean, I don't buy it because I'm pretty sure throughout the season, reporters are going to just be asking them.
Yeah.
Are you guys lazy? Are you guys bored? But the funniest part is I only look at the newspaper for the box score.
For the box score. It's like, bro, what?
Box score? What? Wait a minute. You get the box score in your locker room.
Exactly.
You know how much you scored. Exactly. You know how much you scored. So I'm pretty sure if he does read the paper, he's reading what they're saying about him.
Cap, Klay Thompson is known for being, I guess, eccentric, to say the least. It's Klay. There's China Klay. There's Klay when he's here. It's just Klay Thompson everywhere.
My favorite's Coors Light Klay.
Yeah, Coors Light Klay.
Coors Light Klay.
Drinking beers after the games. He doesn't strike me like a player of MJ or Kobe that will take these type of things and fuel it, whether it's true or not. So are we buying Klay Thompson saying he doesn't listen to the media narrative at all?
I kind of agree with Gilbert. Like, if you're picking up the paper, you're going to that level to get your information, you're probably going to come across some of your own clippings and read them a little bit. Right. I mean, Klay's a little bit of a mysterious guy. We don't get a lot of insights into how he ticks and what he's into, blah, blah, blah. He's kind of very picky and choosy with his, who he allows to kind of come in and do stories on him. So Klay is definitely a mystery man. But, his assertion that he doesn't pay attention to his, press clippings or whatever the hell you want to call them, I'm going to ultimately call bullshit on that, on him and also on his teammate Kevin Durant.
That's what I was just about to say.
KD, who spouted off a lot about the haters on Twitter, social media, blah, 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 to Bill Simmons last week. He spent 20 minutes talking about how he hates everyone on, Twitter clowning, but yet I don't pay attention to him. Like, every time he talks about all the haters, but I don't pay attention to him. So it's like...
But see, that just might be his online persona. Like, it's...
Well, there is the burner
different.
account.
Like, with like Kobe. Kobe reads everything in the summer, and that's what fuels him during the summer. Usually when the season starts and all that, it comes and goes. It's not, nothing really sticks to say, oh, I'm gonna hate this guy that I play in March 16th, and I'm gonna, it's like I heard what he said, and then I'll worry about that in, March.
So when you were in the league, your friends and family didn't tip you off to writers that were maybe bad-mouthing you in the media or things like that?
No,
How'd you navigate it?
Or did you have your enemy list?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, Kobe Bryant, Ray Allen.
The season is so short. It's 6 months. So to be a real professional, you got to understand that you have to put boundaries in. So with mine, that's why I developed no incoming calls. So I have my phone switched and say no incoming calls. I text and I can call you, but you can't call me. So now I get to weed out any bad information that I receive on game day. So game day, I wouldn't talk to reporters. So you're not going to sit here and try to, so you took 30-something shots last night. What are you thinking about doing it, now? I don't want any of that negativity before a game. So I kind of cut it all out.
Yeah.
And then you can only talk to me after the game. So now it gives me a day to digest what it said, and then I can let it go before the next game instead of you telling me something. Now I'm focusing on it during the game because that's what happened my third year in the league. They told me as a point guard I was shooting too much, right? Shooting too much. I need to pass the ball more. So that's what. So the game is I didn't shoot one shot until the fourth quarter.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that, and I buy that completely because remember the playoffs in I believe 2006 when Kobe's going up against the Phoenix Suns throughout the series, people were like, Kobe needs to pass the ball more, trust his teammates more. That fourth quarter against Phoenix in Game 7, he didn't shoot at all. He was like, listen, y'all want to do this?
Hey, y'all want to trust my teammates? All
right, here you go.
There you go, fuck off.
And obviously that incoming call thing, you loved it enough that you still continue to do that in 2018.
Yeah, because you got to remember, it's, I look at it like when I'm home, that's my safe haven spot, so I don't want you bringing that energy of the outside world into my safe haven spot. Like, people got to understand, you got to cut off sometimes from the world. Like, like LeBron, 0 dark 30. He's off social media, while he's in the playoffs because people are going to try to distract him. Yeah. So you don't want him, he says, I don't want to be distracted. I'll worry about everything after.
Now, is that also like a message to his close friends and family? Like, hey, all right, stay away.
Yeah, but but they already know. So he's already laid these rules down. Like when playoff starts, it's grind time. Don't bring me nothing. You guys deal with all that distraction outside. If something needs to happen, if it's about my kids, let me know. Anything else, handle business, handle this. I'll give you the okay.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, that's a great point because some players act differently to critical comments, and Pacers star Victor Oladipo, after a surprising upset in Game 1 of the Cleveland Cavaliers, said that he was motivated by the critical comments Dan Gilbert made during the summer after Indiana traded Paul George to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Victor Oladipo. Cleveland initially offered Kevin Love for Paul George, and the Cavs owner Dan Gilbert said that Indy could have done better than it did. Mind you, so far this season, Victor Oladipo has averaged 23.1 points, 5.2 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 2.4 steals. He's obviously the leader in the clubhouse for most improved player. And he was quoted after the Game 1 win, and Victor Oladipo said, you could say it added fuel to the fire, talking about Dan Gilbert's comments. I guess you could say that. But that was so long ago. It came up recently, obviously, because we're playing at the Cavs in this series. But I'm aware of what he said. Can't control his opinion. All I'm focused on is myself and becoming the best Victor Oladipo possible. Game 1 of the series, Vic scored 32 points, shooting 6 for 9 from 3 with 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. Before we move on to the other quotes that Victor provided, what do you think about his Game 1 performance, and do you think Dan Gilbert provided that much fuel to the fire for him?
I mean, he's been playing amazing all year long. He's, I just think he's finally got someone to believe in him and, say, this is your team, we believe, do your thing. And that's how he's been playing this whole time.
But before the season started, do you think Kevin Love would have been a better option than Victor Oladipo?
No, I mean, you lost Paul George. You bringing in a power forward?
Exactly,
I don't, if I'm going to trade a guy, I'm going to trade, like if I'm giving away my score, I want to bring in another score. I don't want to bring in some power forward. Now I got to go sit here and search for some half-ass two guard.
Right.
And be in the same situation. Same thing when people trade their centers for point guards. It's like, you can't teach 7 foot. So it's a stupid trade. It's a stupid fucking trade.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things like, this was before, even if he had a bad season, you got rid of Paul George, bring in someone who's capable of scoring.
Yeah. Cap, what do we make of Victor Oladipo using Dan Gilbert's comments as fuel to the fire?
I think it's kind of interesting that he would hold on to an owner's comments like for this long. Bringing them up, whether a reporter brought them to him and kind of, scratched a little bit of an itch that he had, or touched some nerve that stayed with him. But yeah, it's kind of surprising that in order that you haven't really dealt with that, kind of wasn't really on your radar. A guy that's on the periphery of all this is still kind of affecting you, and that maybe just goes to show you again how differently wired Victor is and his motivation. To me, it's very surprising that some seemingly random owner in the grand scheme of things, a guy you're not really gonna have much contact with or maybe talk to at all, is the one that's kind of motivating you.
But I don't think I don't think he's saying it's motivated him this whole season. I think it's motivating me for this series. Because that's who we're playing.
But how?
But before that, I didn't remember fucking shit.
But again, it's like you're going to take a grudge that a grudge that someone just randomly said again.
But that's the question.
October or September, whatever the case.
But that's what I'm saying. You ask him the question. He gives you the dumb answer.
But see,
this is fueling me. Yeah, it's one of those.
But it maybe just been a good.
It's not like
an easy way to answer a stupid question.
Yeah, it's not like I'm like Dan Gilbert. No fucking going against LeBron James. It's fucking fueling me.
So like when you're
not Quicken Loans guy, get the fuck out of here.
But when your Wizards squad had the situation where Deshaun Stevenson was getting into it with LeBron and Jay-Z hopped in and Soulja Boy hopped in, those outside factors of people not even playing the game had to motivate him some type of way, right?
No, the beef with him and LeBron was the motivator.
That was the motivating factor.
That's what motivated, we're going against, LeBron and them. And, this is playoff one. The outside distraction, that's what it is, just outside distraction. It's for everyone else. It has nothing to do with what we have to handle.
Everyone obviously takes different things for motivation. Everyone takes slights in various ways. I would just think that a coach or a player would have much more influence on Oladipo than, again, what Dan Gilbert said months and months and months.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I said. If no one would have asked him a question, he would have never mentioned it. Yeah. But someone said, did you read Dan Gilbert's what's the name? And he's gonna be like, yeah, I read that. Yeah, that's what's fueling me. It's fueled me all. Like, he know damn well he fucking didn't probably read it. He was just happy to get over there and be the man.
What's hilarious about Dan Gilbert, he seems to piss off everybody, whether it's LeBron James, Chauncey Billups, whoever. It doesn't matter. Dan Gilbert kind of.
You're telling me a guy who made the All-Star really like Dan Gilbert? Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. It only came up because of the playoffs.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe this topic is the thing that fuels Victor Oladipo. Indiana Pacers game one, their incredible performance was only their second nationally televised game all season long. Mind you, before the season, a lot of predictions had them around a 33 win mark. So not a lot. There wasn't not a national televised opportunities for the Pacers.
I thought they'd be lucky to get that, and I've been dead wrong. Oladipo's balled out. Sabonis has been an excellent, acquisition. Lance Stevenson, for all his psychotic behavior on the court, has been great at times too. So I mean, I was completely dead wrong in the Pacers. I'm still shocked that they have attained this much success and Oladipo's blown up the way he has.
And he had a great quote about the whole second nationally televised game all season and being a small market team. We've been playing like this all year. We've been playing hard on both ends all year. It just hasn't been magnified. So it's the playoffs now. We've been doing this all year. Now everybody sees it, so it's like kind of shocking to everybody, I guess you could say. But we've been playing hard. We've been playing our butts off on both ends of the floor all year. The reason I'm laughing is athletes just say the same thing over and over again in one quote. They got to work on that. But are we buying Victor Oladipo in the small market situation motivating him to play better?
I mean, when you're in a smaller market, it is what it is. The same thing with Dame. You're going to complain about this guy's getting more credit than you because he's in a bigger market. Yeah, Victor's going to get, people are going to see who Victor is because he's going against LeBron. Yeah. So now people are going to be like, oh my God, he's really good. Where's this guy come from?
Like I've been doing this.
But the fans, unless you're from Indiana, you're not watching it. You're not gonna say, oh, let me see Pacers. Yeah. So I'm watching the Pacers versus Bucks.
So if you're a guy like Paul George, right? You obviously fought very hard to get from a place like Indiana to hopefully a bigger market. There's been rumors time and time again that he wants to get to the Los Angeles Lakers. When you end up in another small market, does that kind of defeat what you're trying to do?
Yeah, you're in a small market, but you're with a big market player.
So big market players can transcend anywhere.
Yeah, you can transcend anywhere. Like, so somebody like LeBron, Russell, they're highlighted. The team is not highlighted. That player is highlighted. So everyone's going to know who Russell is. You might not know the rest of the fuckers on the team, but you know who Russell is because he's on the Olympic team, because he's all-star, back-to-back MVP. Yeah. You're going to know that guy. But if Paul George goes to L.A. and he's averaging 23, he's a god.
Okay.
You know, right now people say, "Oh, Victor's better than him." Oh, it was a great trade. But if he goes to LA, he averages 22. He's a god because of the big market.
Yeah, and
you know, like you gotta average fucking 45 in small markets. It's just to fucking get a look. Like
Russ had an average.
That's a triple double, and you're still saying, it was just a triple double.
That's a very fair point. But you know, you make a great point about the Paul George going to LA. If he goes to LA, that's a big time loss for Oklahoma City Thunder because you end up with nothing from that Victor Oladipo trade, right?
Yeah, but that was. But they didn't have no value on him anyway, so it really didn't.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Paul George, why would the NBA superstar give himself a new nickname heading into the playoffs? Time for Fair or Foul. All right, so the All-Star deemed himself Playoff P prior to Thunder's Game 1 victory over the Jazz, and he lived up to the billing, scoring 36 points as Oklahoma City scored 8 3-pointers in the 116-108 win the other day. And then a press conference on Saturday when asked about dealing at the Jazz rookie phenom Donovan Mitchell, George told reporters, quote, "Y'all ain't met Playoff P yet, huh? I'm used to these matchups. I'm used to playing against the best offensive guys in these moments. That'll be my role. Not to say Corey Brewer won't guard Mitchell, but that'll definitely be my role, especially late in games. It is to take that matchup, excuse me." Yeah. So, guys, fair or foul for Paul George deeming himself Playoff P out of the blue?
I have a couple questions. Where was Playoff P last year when they were taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers and C.J. Miles took like the go-ahead bucket that he missed? Playoff P wasn't there.
I think that was what was so funny is that's what Playoff P was mad about because he didn't. You took it, but you know Paul George did make a name for himself that series against LeBron
in 2013.
But that's where he really excelled. You got to remember the playoffs.
It's 2018.
But the playoffs are where you go to the next level.
Yep.
You know, so like players like Mike Bibby, you know, he got a max deal just off the playoffs.
Tristan Thompson.
You know, just off the playoffs. So the playoffs is it's another level that people really,
absolutely,
like they put more on. Playoff P is funny because you can only use it in the playoffs. You can only use his name in the playoffs.
So you call him fair or foul?
I'm going to call it fair because that's where.
I'm calling foul on this because, one, you can't give yourself a nickname. That's why I have a problem with the Black Mamba, because it's like Kobe gave himself a nickname. And Paul George even switched his number to 13 to be PG-13. So all of it's very contrived. And also,
PG-13 is a good name, though.
That's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty good. But what
I mean, but it's half a killer.
But if this is...
You're not rated R.
Yeah, it's not rated R. It's like
you're kid-friendly.
Yeah, you can take teenagers in there. But the thing about Playoff P is like, what about when he was in Indiana last year and they were giving up big-time leads to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I think Cleveland beat them in 5 games, maybe 6, and they were clowning him about his Gatorade commercial. He's like, I never miss, and Playoff P definitely missed.
I mean, all right, so I'm going to call foul on this in general just because when they asked Carmelo about this, Carmelo basically laughed at reporters. He's like, he did what? Like, he was shocked by that. But that being said, I messed up the stat earlier, but he had an Oklahoma City record, 8 3-pointers in Game 1. So he did live up to the billing. You have to give him some credit for that, but like, come on,
it's
you can't
Game
give
1
listen,
the first round.
I tried to give myself a nickname also.
What was it?
In the playoffs.
Lord.
It was Mr. Game 5.
That's a terrible nickname.
So
y'all athletes give yourselves the worst nickname.
So the year before, that's when I hit.
Did you crowdsource this at all?
Yeah. No, I hit the big shot Game 5 against Chicago that one year.
On Kirk Heinrich.
And then we had Game 5 against Cleveland the following year, right? And it was the go-ahead to win the game, and I missed it. Right? I missed it, and I was. Because I already said, this is Game 5. This is my game. I'm Mr. Game 5. I was already talking about it before the game. I'm Mr. Game 5. And I was balling and then had the shot at the end and missed it. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, I can't even use that. And I can't even tell them I'm Mr. Game 5 now.
Well, you put yourself in a corner by saying, I'm Mr. Game 5. So now you have to deliver on Game 5.
I know. That was all Game 5s would have been my thing.
Lesson learned, do not give yourself a nickname.
Don't give yourself nicknames.
Just don't.
I didn't give it to it. I was trying to.
Look at all the great nicknames that you have.
I have great.
Somebody else gave them to you. So
I have great nicknames.
And Mr. Game 5.
I gave Hibachi to myself.
Wow. Okay, that changes it a little bit.
Yeah, I gave Hibachi. Hibachi was mine because I was cooking.
I mean, it's good. It's a good one, but I mean, you got to dock a point.
Oh, it's this one right here? I thought it was this, but it's...
No, it's this. Woo, it's heating up.
That look a little lewd.
I'm older now.
Oh, yeah, that looks...
That's a YMCA shot.
All right, switching gears over to the NFL, time to say goodbye, at least presumably, to all the prison workouts that have been appearing on your timeline because James Harrison is hanging them up. So on Monday morning, the linebacker announced he's done with football, ending a career that included 2 Super Bowl victories, 2 first-team All-Pro selections, 5 Pro Bowl selections, and the 2008 Defensive Player of the Year award. Harrison made the announcement on Instagram saying, quote, "I've missed way too much for way too long, and I'm done. Many thanks to my family, coaches, the fans, and everyone who played a role in my football life," with a bunch of hashtags. Harrison, who was just shot, what's funny about that? Do you want me to read the hashtags?
No. Cap showed his age. He's like, oh, a bunch of hashtags.
It's 3.
3 or 4 hashtags. Anyways, so Harrison, again, just shy of 40, hanging him up, just playing the Super Bowl with the Patriots to end the career. Do you guys have a favorite memory of James Harrison?
Maybe the time that he damn near killed Colt McCoy in that Thursday night football game against the Cleveland Browns.
Damn near killed a lot of people.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. And you have to think about the incredible return touchdown in the Super Bowl against the Arizona Cardinals. That was a fabulous thing in his career. So, and then he just grinded from the bottom to where he was at. I believe 84 and a half career sacks to go from a guy that was undrafted on practice squads. Yeah, I respect it. So, salute to James Harrison and his career. What are you thinking about?
Be honest. I was just on IG and I just seen somebody pushing damn near a car. I was like, who the fuck is this? This man is a psycho. And then realized it was him. I was like,
he is a psycho.
Why do you want to be this strong?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, why you want to be this?
What is the point of all this strength?
Yeah, like there was a great story where Pittsburgh played a Sunday night football game against the Kansas City Chiefs. They got back to Pittsburgh very late, like 3 or 4 in the morning. And James Harrison gets right off the plane and goes and works out. A full workout after you played.
You can see what made him great. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
he workouts like that.
I'm at the 10s, bro. At this point, I'm at the 10s. I'm not even going to even hurt my muscles for
you. You lifting those banks?
Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about none of this.
It's like a little elliptical in.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, he had a great career.
He's borderline Hall of Fame. You can make a case that he can get in there eventually. Yeah. But even though he had that great highlight in the Super Bowl, I'm going to remember the prison workouts.
Yeah, that's all I'm remembering.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to remember.
He bench presses on a squat
He was
rack.
like the whole backstory behind the crazy workouts, that he always felt slighted, that he didn't get on. I think he was a walk-on in college and went to NFL Europe, and a bunch of squads didn't really take off until the middle of his career, and just worked like a dog to stay on NFL rosters till age 40. So salute to him. But I mean, let's be honest, James Harrison's going to be remembered for the prison workouts.
Arguably, he was the best defensive player in this past year's Super Bowl for the New England Patriots. Arguably. And then their defense wasn't that great. So
I mean, Gil, your father, have a bunch of them.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I didn't mean it like that.
Wow.
I didn't mean it like that.
Wow. Like, you're not pulling out.
Wow.
You've been pulling out for a while now.
My man said you have a bunch of them.
What I was getting at is that, your ties to family, and obviously you want to be around them. The more you have and the longer you're away from them, how difficult it is to finally say, I'm done with the sport and I want to spend time with them, or putting them off to the side for a little bit.
No, when you're younger, like when you're younger in your 20s and stuff, and you're having kids, you're not truly a father. It's like I don't know if it's an excuse you're telling yourself, but it's like, I'm doing this for you. I got to grind and work. So you miss a lot of early age experience with your kids. So when you're done, it's like, this is what I want to do. This is my next chapter to push my kids further, give them the best that I didn't have, and actually have them surpass me. Yeah. So, I understand where he says, it's family time. I want to be a family man. I want to be home. I want to raise my kids. I want to, go out there and do the things I didn't do with my kids.
Did you regret missing anything during your playing days?
No, because I get to make it up now. Yeah. So I get to always be there, driving to school, pick them up from school. How was your day? You get to ask them the question that, you're running in and they're asking you a question. How was the game? I was good. Shut up. It's like you don't really get that. You have a pissed off game. You don't want to talk to anybody. By the time you get home, they're asleep. When they get up in the morning, you're asleep. So you can be in the same house with your kids and not see them for a week, just because the times are just missing each other.
My man Cap said, you have a bunch of I'm still laughing at that. He said, why do you say
no shade. He said
it like you was Sean Kemp or like Antonio Cromartie or somebody. Man,
no shade.
Have a bunch of them.
Congratulations to him, and he's gonna have fun. It's gonna be a big challenge for him too. Being a father, finally coming home and like it's just you guys now, that's going to be a whole different workout form.
He can push them around.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole different workout form.
25-pound weights on the sled, yeah. All right, moving on. An IG post has created a Coachella controversy involving Boogie Cousins. This is the step back. So the controversy started after a picture emerged showing the injured Pelican forward DeMarcus Cousins on a private jet that his manager sent out when the Pelicans were playing Portland during Game 1 this past weekend. And on Saturday, Pelicans coach Alvin Gentry said Boogie, who's been rehabbing the Achilles tear that he injured earlier this season, wouldn't be attending Game 1 in Portland because he hasn't been cleared to fly. And then lo and behold, what happens? He shows up on a PJ. In the Instagram that's posted by his manager, Andrew Rogers, he captioned it, "New mixtape dropping for Coachella." And real talk, if you look at the post, Boogie kind of has a Coachella fit on.
Hey,
like that onesie, whatever the hell he's wearing, like has a Coachella vibe to it. So
wait a minute. So you're saying an airplane fit is Coachella fit now?
It looked like it
had
looked
the
like
Coachella
one.
aesthetic.
It had that private airplane feel to it.
Hey, I'm not mad at it.
But they cleared it up and saying that Boogie was going to Las Vegas, where he's now going to do his rehab from Los Angeles. So I guess the question I have for you guys is, in this case where we kind of need more time to think about posting social media and other stuff like that, shouldn't we just kind of ease off Boogie in the grand scheme of things, like no harm, no foul? Like it was the manager just trying to show off a little bit, and like what's the big deal?
I don't know why people give a fuck either way. Like, why do you care where he's at? Even if he was in Coachella, why do you care? Like, he should be with his team doing what?
What's like we talking about Kawhi?
Like you said, he should be rehabbing.
Okay.
How much fucking rehab can the motherfucker do on his foot in a cast? Like, there's 24 hours in a day. He worked out for an hour. That means he has 23 hours to be on Instagram fucking with people. I mean, like, he did his, like, I think people just assume that if he's hurt, he should be rehabbing the whole time. Like, 23 hours, I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, just working your foot.
Just working your foot. Like, fuck no. It's like, I did my therapy, now it's fuck off time.
But you know how fans are with athletes. They think you should be playing sport 24/7.
That's what I said. Everyone thinks that
y'all don't have a life outside.
We don't have a life outside of the hour rehab twice a day that I do. Like I have 23 hours, 22 hours, and just fuck off, you guys. I can just, like someone said that to me, hey, like shouldn't you be like worrying about your kids? No, fuckface. They're in school. I haven't took two.
Hey, listen, people gonna be questioning what you're doing outside of out of bounds. Shouldn't you be preparing for out of bounds?
Yeah, should you be preparing? Nah, chasing hoes.
Oh man, that wraps up the latest edition of Out of Bounds. We know what Gilbert Arenas is doing in his spare time, and I guess I'm not mad at it.
Man, I'm working on Out of Bounds.
That's what you're doing, working on Out of Bounds?
I'm working on trying to figure out ways.
And we got to figure out ways for Caparel to address how many children you have in those most appropriate manner. Not just saying you have a lot of them.
That's a lot. He's right. you know when you have a lot of kids, when somebody asks you, like, how many kids you got? And you be like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Gonna lie. Sometimes I look at your Instagram story. I'm like, I haven't seen this one before.
Yeah. I haven't seen this little one before.
I just started liking this one this week.
For Adam Caparel, Gilbert Arenas, I'm Pierce Simpson. We'll see you tomorrow. This is Out of Bounds. Wait, your strip club outfit is sweatpants with no drawers. That's what's up.
Oh, he's never been in a strip club?
I've been in a strip club once.
He knows the attire at the strip club. How do you not know the attire?
Sweatpants with no drawers? Type of
you get the lap dance. You get lap dance. I pay $20. I want you to feel it. Maybe you want to be interested. I don't know. That's what we do. We're perverts. Obviously, we're in a strip eating strip club anyway. So eating chicken wings at noon.
I don't know what to say. I literally don't know what to say.
Really? You wear hard jeans at the strip club?
I've been to the strip club once. It wasn't a great experience. I was like, I'm good.
Wear sweatpants.
You went to the wrong one.
I definitely went to the wrong one.
Wear sweatpants. Trust me. You have a good time.